Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal then safely through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup as we welcome in Don Hutchison. Here's with us. Don, what did we learn today? Gabriel Jesus should start again over Havertz?
Maybe. I think what we've learned tonight, like we've probably learned since match day one, and it's been pretty obvious that Arsenal can't play and can't win without Ødegaard and Bukayo Saka. I've felt that for a while. I've watched them many a time this season. I've covered their Champions League games, and if you stop Saka on that right-hand side and you stop Merton Ødegaard, who sort of leans towards the right side, he's a brilliant passer of the ball. He got 2 assists when he came on. If you stop them two, that's more or less you're stopping Arsenal. I thought Crystal Palace were game tonight. I thought they were very good. They're in good form. But it took the big guns to come off the bench. So I think you're right. You nailed it. Everyone that's won tonight, I think you'd expect to win.
Havertz.
I'm not going down the Havertz rabbit hole, but I said to Stevie when we were walking down to the studio, they're playing Palace again at the weekend.
Right.
Will he play Gabriel Jesus or will Havertz come back in? And he said Havertz will come back in.
Havertz will come back.
So he may, I don't know. But Jesus can do no more. Goes in, you know, against a rugged, well-organised Palace side who defended really well for 45 minutes, and Arsenal were not creative at all. And I'm sure Arteta didn't want to go to the bench as early as he did at half-time, but he felt that he had to because they were trailing. And the whole tempo of the game just turned on its head. The quickness of Arsenal's passing, the incisiveness of the passing, then Saka comes on, and they just looked, you know, such a different side. Kieran Tierney got an hour or so down the left-hand side and whipped a couple of decent balls in. They need to keep him fit because when Calafiori's out, that's a position that they need to cover. And Zinchenko and Kivior, I think, would be behind Tierney when he was fit. So a couple of really good things for Arsenal in terms of the result and some players getting some fitness. But go back to Don's point, where they struggled in the last couple of games is Ødegaard and Saka work closely together on that side. And when you congregate in that area and overload it in a defensive thing, then you have to switch the play. And they've not been getting enough from the other side, right, the left-hand side. And so it has become a little predictable down that right side, playing all these little 1-2s. And it's something they're going to have to figure out because obviously, you know, who are the teams looking at the most? They're looking at Saka, they're looking at Ødegaard if you stop them. So whether it's Trossard or Martinelli or whoever it is, they're going to have to get a lot more in the Premier League games from the left-hand side of the pitch.
The boys brought up an interesting point. It's Crystal Palace this weekend against Arsenal, once again. Does the fact that Jesus has done that against your defence once make a difference in team selection going into this weekend's time?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I think there's no question that Arteta will have told Havertz that, you know what, I'm starting him tonight.
Should
I'm going to give you
should it affect you as a coach?
Listen, when you need goals and somebody scores a hat-trick, from experience, the person who's just put the ball in the back of the net is on a different level, mentality-wise, from a guy who's struggling in front of goal. But, as I said, I'll be absolutely shocked if he hasn't already told him, look, I'm resting you. And regardless of whether he got 3, 4 or 5, I'm willing to put money on that Havertz starts at the weekend.
I think that's a bad move from a manager, though, to say, I'm giving Gabriel Jesus a game, I'm giving you a rest. He hasn't been playing great, Havertz. I mean, I don't want to go over it. But he's played a lot of games, I'll give you that. But I think it's a mistake to say, I'm giving him a game and you'll play at the weekend. Because then you're putting yourself in a position, rather than saying to him, look, I'm giving Gabriel Jesus a run out. He needs some game time, and leave it at that.
And you know how it happens. He'll go, I'm just giving you a rest, which basically means what I just said. He probably hasn't had he hasn't come out with that statement of you're definitely playing, but Havertz absolutely 100%. If he doesn't start at the weekend, he's the first guy at the door going, hold on a second, you told me you were giving me a rest. And then he's got a problem in his hand. So I just don't see any way how he plays Jesus.
Don?
Interesting that Stevie said Havertz would knock at the door. If I was Jesus tonight, I would have made sure I said to Mikel Arteta, I better be playing at the weekend, by the way. Because then you sow the seed in the manager where you've actually scored a hat-trick, you've played well, you've contributed, you've won the game, and you dare not start someone else over me because what more can I do? So I think if Jesus is smart, I think when he leaves or even when he's at the ground tonight, I think he pulls the manager just to one side, a quiet little word and say, you better be starting me at the weekend because it might
What
just
difference is
sway
that?
it.
I don't understand that, Don. Because surely a manager doesn't need a player to tell you that he wants to start.
No, he doesn't. But you're correct. But if you're Jesus and you just bagged the hat-trick, you can remind the manager on. I mean, you can just say to him a quiet word, listen, I've scored a hat-trick tonight. There's not much more I can do. If you're judging me and Havertz fairly and fair and squarely, and it's all about who's going to be playing at the weekend, all right, it's away from home, so it might be a trickier fixture to call which one you play. But if you're Jesus and you start the game tonight and you score 3, then you'd like to think as a player, you can't do any more than score a hat-trick tonight to put yourself in the manager's contention for the weekend. You can't do any more.
See, there's 2 things there. I'm 100% with Don on the fact that when you've just scored a hat-trick, you absolutely go to the manager and go, hey, by the way, I'm just reminding you, I scored a hat-trick tonight.
Yeah, and he goes,
right?
I know, I
watched
the game.
And that's
It's
fine.
coaching.
But we all know there are unwritten rules, right? And we all know that it's the League Cup. And it makes a difference. If this is a Premier League game, this, in my opinion, changes it. But we all know as players, if you're not playing and you get a game in the League Cup, and even though you play well, you're pretty certain you're not starting at the weekend.
Right.
And there's a reason. You started today because it was a League Cup. So,
Yeah, but it's not like... But I don't know, because... I mean, come on. We have a guy that's come in here, an international footballer. He scored the hat-trick. He's played really well. And we have a guy on the other side of the fence who's... And let's be honest, he's not playing well. He's not scoring goals. He's not a threat. It shouldn't be a difficult decision. It should not for the manager. As everybody said, you can do... Apart from scoring 4 or 5, you can't really do much more than come in and score a hat-trick. If Kai Havertz had been on the ball for the last 6 or 7 games, then yeah, I think then it's a head scratcher for the manager. Havertz has been causing problems. He's scored the odd goal. He's done this. He's done that. It's been a big help to the team. Gabriel Jesus got the hat-trick. What do you do? Is it really that difficult a decision? One player's struggling and one player's just scored the hat-trick. Surely to God, Jesus plays at the weekend.
Liverpool are through then to the semi-finals. The draw will be tomorrow, by the way. Stevie, obviously you keep an eye on this. What did we learn today?
Nothing.
No.
No.
Okay. Don, did you learn anything?
No.
Not really. I thought it was a good performance. I thought Endo played really well. I thought Trainiani, the young kid at 17, done well. But it's the conversation you've just had, about the Arsenal players who start, Jesus, Havertz at the weekend. There's probably only 3 of them Liverpool players tonight who played tonight, who started, that probably play at the weekend. It'll probably be Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Gakpo and McAllister, so tops 4. So it was a job for the young kids tonight. But what you need when all eyes are on the young kids, Morton played well in midfield. What you need when all the eyes are on the young kids is you need your experienced players to play well. And Endo played at the back, which is different for him. I thought he played really well. It was a job done. The game was just too easy for Liverpool. For 45 minutes when they win it 2-0, it was almost like they started passing the ball in the second half. He took Alexander-Arnold off, which was a bit of a gamble because you put more youngsters on. Because all it needs is a freak goal from a Southampton point of view, then the pressure's on. And then he brought Jota on just for a little bit of experience. The only thing I was disappointed in watching Liverpool tonight was Chiesa and Darwin Núñez. Even though Núñez got his goal, which was a bog-standard goal, you can't really miss. I thought in the second half, when the pressure was on, every ball that went into his feet, he'd give away, or every run that he was trying to make, running in behind instead of coming short, decision-making was off. And then Chiesa had about 50, I know it's his first game back, but Chiesa had about 15 minutes in the second half when Liverpool really needed him to get a hold of the ball, to take the team further up the pitch. He kept diving on the floor. He was jumping out of tackles. He didn't fancy a 50-50. Maybe that's because he's just come back. But the negatives were, I think, Darwin Núñez and Chiesa, because they never looked like, to me, they're going to break into the first team. That might sound harsh on Chiesa, but them two are a letdown for me.